Hi guys, this is Michael from the Boardgames Chronicle. Today I'm continuing my series of overview materials for Battles of the American Revolution. This is a series by Mark Miklos and this is published by GMT Games. We'll be looking today at volume 10. At this moment in time when I'm recording this in 2025, this is the latest volume in the series. There is already the next one which will be which is on the P500 and will be hopefully published soon. In the meantime, we had 3 packs focusing mainly on the earlier games from the series in order to bring them to the latest format and graphical design. This series has already, I believe, over 25 years of history, and this is not only a series of games. Mark is doing an extensive research of Battles of American Revolution and brings a lot of historical context to his, to his design. So this is very, very much appreciated, and this is really something which also allows me, an European, to learn more about this American Revolutionary War. The White Plains was kind of a battle which for many years was overshadowed by others, big clashes of the American Revolution. And probably it was not appreciated enough. It's like several months after Declaration of Independence, and it was very probable that the revolution will be crushed then. This will be the largest, probably the largest game in the series, not necessarily the largest battle, but the game from the components size perspective. Even the box which you will see here will be big. As always, you have map at the back, description and so on. What I'm going to do is to show you the components, explain a bit history, mainly using the map. This is probably the best way to show what was happening. In essence, this is a one battle volume. However, we'll have 3 scenarios. This, as I told you, this is probably the largest game in the series, because you can play up to 24 turns of a full 4-day campaign. Probably a challenge. So you have also a shorter, like 4-5 turns scenario of a historical scenario of attack on a very important hill. I will show it to you. And you have also the hypothetical around 10-11 turns scenario of the Howe, so British commander attack on the Washington. So without further ado, let's see what's inside. It's heavy box. And it's very sturdy box, and let me come from this side so I can better present it to you. One improvement which we saw already in the previous game in the series and now in the volume 10, so which we saw on Rhode Island and Newport, is that the rulebook is colorful now and it's still matte, so your eyes will not be aching. As always, you will have 2 rulebooks. One is the series rulebook and the other is exclusive rulebook. And the series rulebook, I would say it contains series rules which are almost fixed by the 10th installment in the series. Yeah, it's almost fixed, so they will tell you, just like in other series of games like Multiman Publishing has, Battalion Combat Series, Standard Combat Series, and so on. So you will have here also the standard information, like how the counters are created, what kind of statistics they have, the leaders, the units, what terminology is being used, like rifles, how do they differ from the regular units, how to win, that there is always 3 levels of victory. Decisive victory, which is very battle scenario specific, usually control of some areas. Substantial victory, which is almost always the same, simply drive the morale of opponent to 0. And then you have the marginal victory, which is almost always a VP victory, and possible if first or second victory were not achieved. This is how the game resolves victory. The sequence of play from game to game is slightly adjusted, but in essence this is I go, you go game with a twist. What I mean by a twist is that at the beginning of each turn You determine initiative. Usually first turn initiative or first 2-3 turns initiative is predefined. You roll a die, but you modify it with your army morale, so it's not completely random. And then you have a first player phase with movement, rally, defensive artillery fire, rifle fire, which is separate thing, close combat, and then you jump to the second player at the end of a turn, checking the victory conditions. This is also hex and counter game, so you will see also the terrain chart and of course the counters. Explanation of initiative: stacking usually 6 strength points of combat units on one hex. There are zone of controls, of course. However, again with a twist, the regular infantry will have full zone of control on the clear terrain, but as you can see, not on the rough terrain like buildings or the woods. However, on the other hand, the light infantry will have much better possibility to exert the zone of control in the rough terrain. Movement will not be go into the details. Rifle fire for specific units which has R denotation and they are equipped with rifles. Show you also on the actual counters. Defensive artillery fire, this is important game mechanic. Close combat almost always resolved the same way with some twists. Important thing, from the onset of the series, you had tactics on both sides to be used during the combat. First it was cheats, now we have tactics cards. What you do, both sides choose one tactic card in a hidden way, flip, and we see how the battle will be modified. The battle might not take place at all if one side, for example, skirmish and the other withdraws. Some of the tactics needs the presence of the leader. It's nicely shown in the player aid. Here are the tactics cards and the potential tactics cheats. Momentum cheats will allow you to influence the roll for initiative, but also to get the opportunity cards. Opportunity cards were also introduced recently in some few latest volumes. It creates a lot of replayability for the game. I will show them to you. There are generic ones and specific for the combat. When we'll have combat results, probably CRT table will be good to show you how they look like. You can be shattered, you can be disrupted. Leaders, how do they work? And then the rally phase and army morale. Oh, here it is, tactics matrix. You can see, depending on what tactics both sides applied, then you will have, particular results. This does not require anything. This requires leader. This requires leader and an open flank. And this is the standard close combat table with the results like army morale loss, retreat, disruption, step losses, and so on. And this is typical for all the games in the series. Last but not least, expanded sequence of play in a format which is universal for all scenarios. However, you will have twist from game to game. Now, White Plains. This rulebook is large, 36 pages, even more. This is 16, so you can see that the specific rulebook can be longer than the series rulebook, which is not surprising, honestly. What do we have here? First and foremost, we have what we have in almost all the great battles of American Revolution. So we have a new cheats, replacement counters. This is for Utah Springs and Monmouth counters. Usually these are rather not errata. Sometimes it was an errata, but it's more like bringing some more chrome to those games. There is not too many, replacement counters here. Here we have the counters which will be used in the game. For the people who are watching this and played the games in the series, it's self-explanatory. Continental regulars, state troops, militia, which is always kneeling, the regular British, the Germans, Hessians, loyalists, and Tory militia. The opportunity card will be a little more elaborate this time. We'll have several decks here depending on the day of the battle. That's interesting. Title, when to play, special instruction, and card effects. So there is, as I told you, the system is evolving. It's clear for me that it's getting better and better. And the 3-packs, which are then published from the older games, to large extent are bringing the previous installments to this great level. Prepare for play with explanation that we have 3 scenarios, that the game length could be variable, with a player order that the British are first in the game turn 1 and only they move, and Americans will be first on turn 2 and 3. We'll have strength points loss table, which is important. Deployment, some of the units will be deployed with a number on the counter at the beginning of the game. Some will come as reinforcements. Some are opportunity units, which you can bring to the battlefield with the opportunity cards. Interesting 2 elements in this battle is that we determine Washington's combat modifier. He was inexperienced, maybe it's probably overstatement, but really he was not so experienced with dealing with British as he will be in a year 2 or 3. So you will be rolling a die, unless it's your first game, first play of this game. It's then suggested that you can simply set Washington's combat modifier set to 1. Rules de guerre, it's tricks of the war. It comes from French. You will be randomly determining how many of those you have and where you will put them, so you will be able to surprise the British when they start attacking you. Victory conditions. As I told you, substantial is always the same, so this is morale check, but the decisive is important. Decisive for the campaign, and we talk about the campaign, is controlling of hex 2103. I will show this on the map. If this hex is controlled, the Washington forces retreat path is cut off. His forces are captured, most probably he's captured, and most probably the revolution, while maybe not over, is pretty close to the end. For the American, is inflicting 23 strength points of British player. It's not non-artillery, non-militia, so the true regular units. Marginal is on victory points with restriction that the British needs to have Chatterton Hill in order to apply for the marginal victory. We'll show you on the map in a moment. Okay, all of those hexes I will show you. British headquarters, Chatterton Hill, Horton's Mill, Tarrytown, all of those things are giving the points to the Americans or British, and when the British capture them, they usually get some opportunity cards and so on and so forth. So this is something we need to pay close attention when we'll be looking at the map. Serious rules variation, so leader priority. Then when they will retreat, also good to show on the map. American sortie restriction, so Americans cannot sortie against the British unless they close enough. There's a line on the map which shows this. First fire recovery, American tactical doctrine, reinforcements, all those things really impact the battle. Rain game turns. Rain was a huge factor in this battle. It, for example, delayed Howe's frontal assault and prevented this to be ever, run. However, the optional version allows us to, of course, run it. Now, what do we have here? We can restore army morale during the rain turns. There will be a lot of opportunity cards which you can gather again. At the beginning of the game you have some of them. You will gain them also by capturing some areas on the map. You can spend the momentum. They usually are small boosts to your attacks, or sometimes small problems for your opponent, sometimes additional units. These are not game changers, but very much welcome. and they are much more elaborate than they were previously. As you can see, there's a lot of detailed rules. I believe in previous games there were not so many special rules like in this. Third town is off-map box, very important. You can fight in the off-map box. Militia and the resolve. Screens, force movement, building of field works, rules de guerre, so the rules how you can trick and surprise the British as the American. As always, you have special units presented. There are a lot of them, and then we start. First of all, we have historical scenario, the battle for Chatterton Hill. It's only from turn 4 to turn 8, so 5 turns. And both sides fight exactly for this one hex, 2024, which is Chatterton Hill. There are a lot of rules which are not used here because this is not a multi-day battle, but only half a day, and there are not too many units taking part in this. Only some opportunity cards are used. Then we have hypothetical scenario, Howe's Grand Assault. So on October 31st, he brought all his reinforcement and he was planning the attack, but the rain started to pour and he never did it. It's also not a very long, it's from the turn 32 to 42. 13 turns, should be playable also in one evening. Where we have a victory condition, yes, control of this exit hex, or elimination of 15 or capturing of conditional state troops. And you can have this number lower if you manage to get Washington. Americans most probably 20, yeah, of course, velocity 23, strength points destroyed. Then we have explanation of the opportunity cards and a lot about design. I really appreciate those inputs from Mark Miklos. And then yeah, twilight of the New York campaign. This was the end of a New York campaign, which was not the best for Americans, but they managed to survive, so I would not count this as a disaster. They managed to bring the revolution forward. A lot of insights, as you can see. When you have the orders of battle, it was not a small battle, and a lot of forces which were taking part in the battle actually did not fought. Only several thousands of on both sides fought, although it was like 15 to 15,000, something like this. For this war, it was huge. Here we have the counters manifest. Yeah, and here we have this hidden table for America, rules de guerre template. Yeah, and sequence of play for this game a bit more, as you can see, detailed than the series rules. Last but not least, we go further. We have player aids, 2 similar ones, victory point schedule, so for which we are getting the victory points, opportunity card draw summary, so when we draw the cards. There is not so many artilleries here like some other, for example, siege battles. Morale checks, and we should have, I was looking for this. We will have terrain effects chart, tactics matrix, which I was showing you also on the series rules. Here we have close combat table, ranged fire modifiers, close combat modifiers, all what you need for the play. And then this is the October 31st scenario deployment reference. So they will be deploying that way. Counters, yeah, we have counters here. This is not a small battle, so usually the one battle fits either on the half sheet of counters or one sheet of counters. Here for this battle we have 1.5. So here we have the units, the American units, the regulars, then we have also militia, the ones which are kneeling, and we have also some continentals. We have British regulars, we have Hessians, a few of militia and Tories, mainly regulars. Here are the additional counters for disorganized screening movement, Ruse de Guerre. As you can see, two-sided. Now, before I will show you the map, or two big, large mounted maps, let me show you what you have inside. A small errata, yeah, for the game. We have tactics cards and those opportunity cards. So let me take my opener here and let's look inside. What's there? Let's have a look. So these are the British. Of course, we have a tactics card, which looks exactly the same from game to game. And then we have the opportunity card, which are also divided now into the decks, depending on the day. Local superiority, which cancels enemy, attack or counterattack, are usually generic cards. But you can have also some specific, like play during friendly movement. One has infantry may cross a Bronx River. This is specific to this battle. Then you have deck 2, special card, probe. And this card you can get as a British once you've encountered first, tricks of the war card. Loyalist spy. Nice. They are really interesting. You probably will not be able to get all of these cards during your one play, so there is high chance that you will encounter something new, something fresh on your second game. So it really makes the game replayable. Okay, let me open the second one. So we have a tactics for the Americans, and then we have beautiful American opportunity cards. Also with some specific and with some, generic. What do we have here? Yeah, we sometimes can bring, the opportunity units with those cards. A most furious fire played during rifle fire may not be played during rain. Plus 2 DRM on the fire to hit table for one friendly rifle unit this turn. Cool. Okay, so now time to show the beautiful two mounted maps. There are two mounted maps because we have large, nice hexes. And now I will try to put this in a way that you can see it. You will most probably not be able to see everything at once, but you will be able to see a lot. I love those maps. Colorful, beautiful. Now they are mounted too. Okay. Let me see what you can see. Yep, so this is the map. Let us look at this that way. Here are the weight planes. So the main space of the battle. And here is the Chatterton Hill, a key hill which was taken by the British. A Chatterton Hill scenario, just a reminder, is a 5-turn scenario, which you will be playing if you don't want to play the full campaign. Here is the victory point for the decisive victory for the British. So if they manage to cut this line of supplies to Washington in one place, they win the game and they cut them simply from a retreat path. Here we have Horton's Mill, which is a victory point space, and we will have here, this is also victory space. Of course, the Chatteron Hill, Terrytown, transition box in Terrytown are very important also, victory points. And if we look on the map number 1, we can see British HQ, and the British will be going this way. At the top of the map, we will have game turns, 42. The short scenario is here. I would love to see this painted somehow to show that this is a short scenario. The medium length scenario is here. You can see the rain turns, and here are potential rain turns. These are the definite rain turns. Okay, what's the situation? The situation is the British are attacking this way, the Americans are making the stand here, they are making stand actually this way. They will lose this, and being afraid of being a good flank, they will retreat in good order. A large map, mounted map, I like it. I really like it. This really this is really an improvement. On this map too, you will have also a morale track, terrain key, and this at the top you have a strength points table, loss table. You will see when there is a victory check for British victory and American victory, depending on the number of casualties inflicted on the opponent. Okay guys, I can't help but we need to finish this video because I will set up the counters and start playing this in a moment. I hope that this gave you a good insight about the Battle of White Plains, the 10th volume of Great Battles of American Revolution by Mark Miklos, published by GMT Games. A beautiful, interesting, replayable, free scenario game with opportunity cards which make each and every attempt different. Can't wait to bring to this table. Thanks to my Wargames buddy Janek, I have now opportunity to familiarize with this system and play with him battle after battle. Thank you very much for being with me today. If you like this video, do not hesitate, give a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content like this, kindly please subscribe. Also, look at the comment section below video and put your opinion, question, remarks, maybe suggestions or even questions, and simply let me know what do you think about the game, about the series, about this volume. Thank you once again for being with me, and thank you for watching. Bye!